Hi everybody, welcome. I have got a fantastic training for you today. I'm very excited. We are going to be talking about making next year your best year yet. I suggest you grab your pen and paper. And if you're listening to the replay, then you've got the opportunity to set aside some time where you can do this and work through this training with me. You'll need about 3 hours to do this really properly, but obviously what you can do is you can press pause on me so that you've got the time to reflect on the questions that I'm going to share with you. So I've got lots of notes with me today. So I'm just going to make sure that I can see them and we will get started. Hello, and do say hi, and because I can see there's little like numbers that go up as people join, so do say hello as you join so that I know where you're coming in from. Send me some thumbs up and I will say hello, and I will also answer your questions as we go if I spot your comments and questions in the comment box. Anyway, let's get started. So let's make each year your best year yet, and the year after year, and for the rest of your life. So this is the time of the year where you want to be thinking about next year and reflecting on what's happened last year. It is just the perfect time to reflect, to do it now, before the Christmas mayhem, before next year actually starts. So have a think about these questions. Do I wake up every morning refreshed and excited for the day? Do I have the resources that I truly want, that I truly want at a deeper level? Do I wake up on Monday mornings excited for the week ahead? Do I have enough free time to enjoy with my family? That's a big one for many people. Do I invest in enough self-care? And does my self-care nourish me and vitalize my energy? Most of my clients aren't doing enough of the right kind of self-care for themselves, and it's often taking more energy than it is giving them, which is something that we work on. Do I have enough courage built up to take off the golden handcuffs that are keeping me in my job? So as I said, you'll need to set aside at least 3 hours to fully reflect on what went well, where would you like to go, and what would you like your annual review to look like next year. So let's begin. Let's start with this first question. What we want to do is look back and think about, what did you accomplish last year? Because awareness brings, well, its own reward, obviously, because by shifting your attention to what you've accomplished in the past year actually brings to life your I can do it attitude and get you back in touch with your ability to make things happen, which is phenomenal. And this could include things like, just to give you some examples to get you started, it could be maintaining your health. Perhaps you got a promotion at work. You read 20 books, you learned a new skill, you saw your friends more, paid off your credit card each month, perhaps you launched a new business, whatever it is for you. So what we're doing is we're starting by giving ourselves a huge pat on the back. Then what I want you to think about is, what were your disappointments last year? Hi Jasmine, darling, good to see you here. Think about, what were your disappointments last year? And when did you disappoint yourself? When did others disappoint you? And what happened that was not in your control? Now, obviously this is key. You don't have to show this to anyone else. So it's just about being honest with yourself. It's not about beating yourself up or beating anybody else up, but it's about looking at how you handle things. Because if you find it easier to criticize yourself and ask, why are you hanging on to the resentment? That's what you need to do. Now I'm just going to check one thing, because it just said my battery's low for 2 seconds. There we go, should have been plugged in. Are we good? I think we're good. There we go, we're good. So where are we talking about? We're talking about not holding on to resentment, because that's absolutely key. So we don't want to be blaming others or blaming ourselves. And if we are, that's where we need to be doing the energy work on that, to let it go, because you want a clean aura for 2018. So what I want you to do is to close your eyes and imagine yourself in a space where your past, present and future are all around you. And now point to where your past is in that space. and then point to where your future is, and finally point to the space occupied by your present. Now, everyone has a slightly different interpretation of this exercise, but it can be really helpful to see your past is very firmly behind you, your future is right in front of you, and your present obviously is in the exact space that you are occupying right now. Now, if your present appears to be in a slightly different place, you can sometimes imagine where it is and then step into that space and see how it feels. It's all about perception, and especially about letting go of the things that you can't change. Whatever has happened is over. And of course you can learn from it, but you can't change it. So don't let it use any of the energy that you could use to enjoy, your here and now, and for creating a better future. And it can sometimes be hard to stop thinking of the past and focus on the future without that nagging voice, the ego, the naughty mindset suggesting that you'll make the same mistakes again and again and again. And an easier way to move away from anything that is anchoring you to your past mistakes is to focus on what is happening right now. We can't control the past or the future, but we can control the way we think and the way we feel in the present moment and in every present moment. And that is where we have the real power, because our thoughts affect the energetic vibration that's coming out from our head, electromagnetic waves, our heart's electromagnetic waves, and our heart is electromagnetic waves, and they impact our experience of the environment around us. So this stuff is powerful. So compared to our past and future, the present moment is the smallest sliver of time we have, but it's the biggest in terms of the power to create change. So a key point to remember there. Then we want to talk about, actually, first of all, think about some examples of disappointments just to get you thinking. So it could be things like you've gained weight, perhaps a parent or friends died, or a relationship's ended, or you didn't get the promotion, and you feel stressed out about things, perhaps credit card debts building up and you haven't got a plan to pay it off, or maybe you didn't meditate as much, or you're juggling the dynamics between family life, work life, and your own health. So that's the key things, just some examples there to get you going. Then I want you to think about, what did you learn? Because life, it is like a classroom. And when you examine your own life, you find actually there is really good sense that you can then use to help you get more out of what you want in your life. So these are your personal lessons that you can use to turn into your standards and guidelines. So think about what works and why, what didn't work and why, and how do you limit yourself, and how can you stop doing that? Have a look at some of the things you've decided that you'd like to start doing and ask why you haven't started them before. There may be reasons to do with circumstances and timing, of course, and other people in your life, but how many of these reasons are really excuses? Have you been holding yourself back? And if so, why? And did you get a benefit from limiting yourself? I see this all the time, especially on discovery calls. Did it make life easier or less scary? Did you avoid conflict or pressure? Did you avoid failing or avoid potential success and its limitations and its implications rather? So what do you think you've lost by limiting yourself? For some people, this can include a sense of fulfillment, self-respect, good relationships, good health, money, fun, loads more. Because fear, it's the biggest limiting factor in most people's lives, because most fears are about, imagined events that never actually happen. What is it that you are most afraid of? What stories do you habitually tell yourself? What kind of self-image do you have of the sort of person you are? And what would happen if you told yourself a different story and believed it? People are afraid of success, failure, what people think, or who they will become, of who they will leave behind. The most important question here is, are you willing to stop limiting yourself? And if there are fears associated with doing what we really want to do, then bring them into the open and see if they're real or imagined. And I really would get some support with this. I can't reiterate that enough. So how do I limit myself? In what areas of my life am I not achieving what I want? What do I say to myself about these failures? And your answer to these questions, these answers are your limiting paradigms. And with this, what you can do then is think about where they lead you, because life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So look at this list of limiting paradigms and make a note of the one that has the strongest negative influence on you at this point in your life. So which one are you buying into, you being sold to, and choose this one to shift into a new empowering paradigm for this coming year, the year of 2018. So it needs to be obviously positive, personal, in the present tense, powerfully stated, and pointing to an exciting new possibility. So it could be something like, I have the talent to succeed, or I have never been so healthy and alive. Just two examples there for you. Then I want you to think about, what are your personal values? Your personal values, they are your personal principles or standards, your judgment of what is important in your life, of course. And if the things that you want to do are in conflict with your values, you're going to be really frustrated. And one of the easiest ways of figuring out your values is to think about how you want to be remembered. How can you make your life be about living to these values? Authenticity and integrity are essential elements in creating a happy and successful life according to the values that you hold. And many people measure a successful life by the things they own. And a way to ensure you're living according to your values is to figure out the kind of person that you want to be, the things that you need to do to be that person, and then of course finally the things that might bring this to you. Then I want you to think about, I'm just going to grab a drink, 2 seconds. It's absolutely freezing outside today in the part of the world that I'm in. I don't know what it's like where you are. Anyway, then I want you to think about, what roles do you play in your life? Now, we hear a lot about work-life balance, but what I want to ask you is, what does this really mean to you? Because everyone has many roles that they play in life, and they change as circumstances change. So list all the roles that you currently play in no particular order, and then assess how well you play each one on a scale of 1 to 10. So note the ones you'd like to drop, and the ones you'd like to add to, and the ones that you'd like to do better. So these could include obviously family and personal roles, as well as business roles. So you're a daughter, you could be a parent, a mother, a brother, a fundraiser, an artist, a coach, a musician, a business owner, a friend. And then I want you to think about which roles will be your major focus for next year. Now, I love looking at this in this way. So imagine you are in a helicopter looking down at everything you do in your life spread out beneath you. There will be some things that dominate the picture and some things that are in the background. And then using the section on your personal values as your guide, decide where you would like or need to put more attention next year. And then acknowledge that, of course, you only have so many hours in the day, and that your first priority must be taking care of yourself. It's not selfish. If you think about it, and I know this analogy has been used loads of times before, but think about at the beginning of when you get on an aeroplane and the lovely air stewardesses do the safety demonstration, and they all talk about putting the oxygen mask on yourself before you start helping others, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you become a liability. So bear that in mind. Take care of you first, and then note any conflicts, and then decide which roles will be your major focus for next year, thinking how this is going to fit into your long-term life plan. If you draw a circle to represent your whole life, you can divide it up into the roles that you want to play next year and allocate the right amount of space, obviously according to the importance. You can label or colour in each area in a way that makes it clear how you're going to divide your time. It's a really cool trick that you can do. And what are your goals for each role? So take the 10 most important roles that you've identified and write a goal for each one for the coming year. And at this stage, you might be thinking, I've set goals before and I've not achieved them, so what the hell is the point of this? But there are many systems and methods of goal setting and many myths too. And your actions need to fit with your values and become new habits. That's key. Then what I want you to do is review each goal, and if necessary, rewrite them until you have a list that you are truly happy with and you know that you can achieve it. And don't kid yourself by setting goals that you're unlikely to achieve. That's just setting yourself up for failure. But also don't undersell yourself either. So there's a fine balance between the two. And I really want you to dig down into any doubts or worries and make sure that you have a way that you can plan to achieve each goal that's in line with your personal values. So what are your top 10 goals for the next 12 months? And by now, you've probably gathered that how to have your best year yet isn't about just setting some business goals. It's about really unearthing your big lifetime goals and the things that might be holding you back from fulfilling your potential. Using your skills and talents in line with your personal values and getting closer to leading that life of integrity and joy. If your lifetime goals are clear, then making short-term goals for the coming year and every future year basically is going to then take you closer to them and going to provide you with so much joy in your life. So from the goals that you've identified for each role, choose the ones that will make the most difference to your life. Keep checking back and revising the list until you have a list that thrills you and excites you. And if your list causes you doubts and worries, you need to dig up the reasons. So make a note of them and caption them there, because you're going to need to release those doubts. And you really need to be honest with yourself. And if you really can't see yourself achieving a particular goal, just cross it out and replace it. It's not a should do a goal list. It's about what you truly want, and there's no one's judgment involved here except what's in your own head. So what you're looking for here are the things that are going to make up the best year of your life so far, and something that you can build on. So what you don't do this year can go on the list for next year, so that each year becomes the best year so far. Does that make sense? So how can you make sure that you achieve your top goals? Because obviously just writing down goals is not going to get results, and just making a plan isn't going to get results, and just thinking the positive thoughts isn't going to get results. You need consistent, aligned action coupled with your firm belief, your energy in flow. That will get you the results that you want. But even then, of course, circumstances outside of your control may influence what happens. And you can't control what happens, but you can control how you react to it, which is why energy work and mindset work is so life-changing. So your plan to achieve your goals needs to be a living, breathing part of every second of your life. It's not something that you put on a shelf and you forget about until next year and go, oh, crikey, let's just dust that off. Every decision that you make will take you nearer or further away from achieving your goals. And achieving your goals is not something you do as well as doing everything else in your life. It's about the way you live your life every moment. So if your goals are consistent with your values and the roles that you play in your life, the changes you make will lead naturally to the end that you have in mind. So planning to achieve your goals, most things happen without a plan, and many of them are good things. So just things like friendships, falling in love, finding great music, food, art, things that make you laugh, spontaneity and is really important. But if you want to achieve particular goals, it means making space in your life for what really matters, and by taking action, by doing those things that you enjoy. So when you create good, sustainable habits that you enjoy, you'll end up with a life that you're really proud of. And you don't have to do it alone. It's been said you are the combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So look at the people who you hang out with all the time. Your eating habits, your overall health, your wealth and levels of success are likely to be similar. So what does this mean for you? It means you are who you hang out with. So this means that if you want to change, you probably need to associate with different people. I know that can feel quite harsh, but really reflect about who you're hanging around with. There are 5 crucial people that you need to have on your team in order to make the changes that you've identified for this year. You need a coach and a mentor. Now that could be 2 separate people, or it could be the same person. This is someone that you know has had the success in the areas in which you want to be successful. So for example, if you're unfit and you want to be healthy and strong, find somebody who used to be unfit and is now healthy and strong, and find out how they did it. Remember, you have to like the process or it won't work for you. If you want to earn more, learn to sing, start a fashion label, become a coach, leave the rat race, win a medal, find somebody who's had that experience and learn everything you can about how they did it. Then you need a catalyst. And this is someone who is on the same journey with you, so that when you have a bad day, this person knows exactly how you feel, because you're both striving for the same goals. You have somebody to bounce ideas off and share triumphs and struggles with. And if you're in a coaching group, your fellow coachees in this group are that catalyst for you. I'm in 2 coaching groups at the moment, and the power of being surrounded by like-minded people all on the same journey of you, I cannot tell you how amazing it is. It just fast tracks you. It's fantastic. And that's why I have developed coaching programs for myself as well, because I think it's the most powerful way for people to get to where they want to go. So if you're not in a coaching program, group, mastermind, go and get in one. Then you need a right-hand woman or man, somebody who's got your back and supports you in your business. Big shout out to Sophie, who is my right-hand lady. And you need a cheerleader, somebody who is in your corner, will be cheering you on, who believes in you more than you believe in yourself. Often they have high expectations, they keep you on your toes, they push you outside of your comfort zone, make you try new things, not let you settle for less, and dust you off when you fall and get you back out there again. So, and I'm so lucky, I'm surrounded by wonderful cheerleaders, and a big shout out to my dear Holly, who is a very special cheerleader for me. So that's it. 10 questions, 3 hours dedicated to you. Build in monthly plans as well to make sure you make it happen. Get support, you deserve it, and go out and get it. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed this training. As I said, you can hit repeat, listen to this over and over again as you work through creating your plan for your best year yet. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.